everyone, I am Pratyush Pandey from Educational Series. Today I have come up with a new topic, acid, bases and salts. And this video is a part of Class 7 Sprint Series and a very elaborate one. So let's start. Quote of the day. Education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence. Now what does it mean? Through education, you can listen to anything, bad things, new things. If you have education, you know the real truth about them. Or if you have real mindness and you are wise, then education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or self-confidence. If you are an educated man, a wise man, then you won't lose your temper on small things and you won't believe myths. So that is what it means, and it was given by a famous person, Robert Frost. So let's proceed on. Topics to be covered: acid, bases and salts, acid, bases, indicators, litmus test, China rose indication, phenophthalene, neutralization and neutralization in everyday life. So these are very interesting topics, and let's start this amazing video. Please like, share, subscribe my channel and don't forget to click the bell icon segment below to get regular updates of my videos. Let's proceed. Acid, bases and salts. Now what are acid, bases and salts? Now acid, you can see, are some chemicals which have sour taste and have the pH value lower than 7. We'll learn about pH scale later. So now acids you can differentiate from bases, like bases have a bitter taste, B for base and B for bitter. Bases have a bitter taste while acids have a sour taste, you can say. Tomatoes, oranges, lemons, amlas, if you have tasted them, I'm sure you have, then this tastes a little sour. You can say in Hindi khatta. So that sourness indicates that these are acids, and for information I can tell you that these are citric acid. So in lemons and in tomatoes. So now let's see how to consider base. Examples of some bases, you can see soap, detergent in everyday life. So detergent, cleaners, window cleaners are all bases. Let's see more about acid and base. So here you can see this amazing animation. Here just you will not understand this, we'll learn later, but just you can see that it is called litmus paper. A blue litmus paper turns red when in an acid, and red litmus paper turns blue when put in a base. So now let's learn more about acid and bases. Salt are the combination of these two we learn. Okay, now acid. The substances that taste sour are called acid and their nature is acidic. Now I have a lot to tell you about acids. First thing, litmus test. Litmus paper turns red when in acid. Okay, and second thing, that acids have their pH value. pH is a value from the midpoint. Now acid and bases, for example, acid and bases are two different categories and they are exactly opposite. Oh wait, I'll tell you pH scale after the base. So now examples, let's see, of acid. And also one important point is that this acid has come from the word acre, I think it's Latin word acre, which means sour. So acids have come from acre. And also some examples, I have a lot of examples: citric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, hydrochloric acid, tartric acid, and a lot of acids. So now let's proceed on to bases. Bases, substances that taste bitter. So their nature is basic. Base is usually found in soap, detergent, cleaners, in all of these things have base. Base, bitter. If you have taste soap, it tastes bitter, and there it's the slippery to touch. If you will touch soap, and it is very slippery, isn't it? So it's very slippery. And red litmus paper, when you put it in a basic solution, turns blue in color. And also examples: milk of magnesia, sodium chloride, soap, detergent, lime water containing calcium hydroxide, household cleaners, and a lot of examples are there. So let's proceed. Indicators. Now, you cannot, because there's some very highly reactive, you can say, highly corrosive, it's a word which we use, highly corrosive things which are very aggressive and which can burn you. Strong acids such as hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, acids and bases are very corrosive. Corrosive means that these are the things which are highly reactive and can burn if you touch them. For example, acids, strong acids, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, bases such as calcium hydroxide. All these things are bases, and these first three were acids. So they are corrosive and they can burn you. So if they can burn you, if they fall on you, will you taste it? And then you will be fired inside your mouth, and you will become a dragon. So you don't want that to happen. So now, if you cannot taste everything, and there where what our superhero indicator steps in. Indicator, as you have seen in some vehicles, they say indicator. The indicators indicate, they show signs. They have certain things which change when they come in contact with a base or an acid. As I told you about the litmus paper that turns blue and red, so that is also indicator which indicates whether it is an acid or a base. So now you can see here, turmeric is an indicator. Now, for example, you went to a wedding and you were eating a lot of curries and you were eating a lot of paneer, and some fell on your shirt, and it was a white shirt or any color shirt. So that contains turmeric, haldi which you say. So that when you will rub it with soap, because when you clean it in the bathroom and you come and you at home and you clean it, so you may have observed that if your mother asks your mother, that area patch turns red in color. Why? Because turmeric is an indicator, and that soap is a base, so that indicates when a base comes contact with turmeric, it turns red. So you can do that experiment. You can take some turmeric and you can take some soap and put water and mix, not whole, just do like this and take it, and that will be soapy solution, and put some turmeric and stir it, and then it will become reddish in color. That indicates that soapy water solution is a indicator. We'll see more indicators, but first you can see this is HCl, this is some dilute HCl, and when this is acid, HCl is acid. So when you will put blue litmus paper, it will turn red. That indicates this is an acid. Let's proceed on. Examples of indicators are China rose, phenolphthalein, and turmeric, litmus paper, litmus solution, which is nearly the same. Litmus test, it is the most common used and most easy to find in laboratories. This is the litmus paper or litmus solution. Litmus solution is formed from a plant called lichnus, which is formed sometimes on the roadsides or in the wild. So that when they crush it, they grind it and make a paste of it. That paste is mixed with water and made a solution. That solution is to make litmus paper. It's put on that paper and it becomes litmus paper, and that solution, we call it litmus solution. That when we apply some base. Now here we will talk about litmus papers. So there are two kind of litmus paper. blue litmus paper and red litmus paper. So if you put a blue litmus paper, blue, in an acid, it will turn red. And if you will put a blue litmus paper in a base, no color change. Now take a red litmus paper and if you will put in acid, no color change. And if you will put in a base, that red color litmus paper will turn blue. You can see here, this is a very amazing animation here. Now this is blue litmus paper and this is acid. Now hydrochloric acid, very strong acid. So this is the blue litmus paper and this is red litmus paper. So when you will put this blue litmus paper here on some hydro acid, then it turns red. But if you will put some hydrochloric acid on red litmus paper or blue litmus paper, it will not change. If you put hydrochloric acid on red litmus paper, if you put on blue, it will turn red. If you put on red, no change. And now water is not both. It's not acidic, it's not basic, it's the center, so it does not change its color in both red litmus paper, blue litmus paper. You can see here no color change. While now a base, ammonia, yeah. So if you will put it in a blue litmus paper, no color change because it is a base. While if you will put in a red litmus paper, it will turn blue. So these are the tests which can show that if a substance is acidic or basic. So this is called litmus test and it can be done by both litmus paper and litmus solution. So let's proceed on and see some indicators. China rose. Now if you go out and if you have a good garden, then you can see some hibiscus growing out there. That is also called China rose. So that hibiscus, if you will take some petals and boil it in water and then take that pink colored water and add it to it's now a very strong indicator. Now if you will put China rose in acid, it will turn, the color is little wrong here, it will turn darker pink or magenta. They call it magenta. And if you will put this in a base, it will become green colored. Its natural color is yellow, green, pink, and if you put it acid, magenta or dark green, dark pink, and in base if you put China rose solution, then it will be, that solution will become green in color. It's a very common indicator and it's very popular. So you can check if you have hibiscus rose, then you can do it. And then you will say that how will you get acid and basis samples. So now acid, we learn about there is no slides after this to tell bases and acids in daily life. So and if you have seen lemons and they are sour to taste, you have tasted a lemon, so it was sour to taste. So when you pour out some lemon juice and when you mix it properly, then it becomes acid, citric acid. That lemon juice is citric acid. Acid are not very corrosive. It's a dilute, but it will work to show, the indicator will work on it. And you can get a base, make a soap solution. So you got both acid and base in your everyday life. So here you can do this experiment if you want. Now let's see one more indicator, phenolphthalein. Phenolphthalein, I was right. So it's another indicator when it added to a basic solution, then it changes its color, it makes it pink, darker pink. And when you put in acid, it is colorless. Let's see this animation. And here he has put some acid, this phenolphthalein, and its color has become pink. And now when it will put in acid, then you can see it's little pinker, but when it stirs, it becomes no color, white. So this is another good indicator, but it's not that widely used. It's mostly in laboratories. Now let's move on and now learn about neutralization. Now we learned about acid into indicator, base into indicator, lot of tests. We did a lot of things. Indicator. Now what if you add some of hydrochloric acid and some of hydrochloric acid and some of you can take milk of magnesia, for example, or calcium hydroxide. Yeah, calcium hydroxide. You will add HCl and a calcium hydroxide. One calcium hydroxide is a strong base and HCl is a very strong acid. So when they react with each other, when you will put in one and you will stir, then there will be water and salt. When two acid and base reacts with each other, they form a salt and a water. This effect of one acid and a base combining during a reaction, and they form salt and water. This process is called neutralization. Now, if a strong base and a weak acid, then the solution will be little basic. Strong acid, less base, weak base, then the solution will be little acidic. Now, let's see on the board first what is pH scale, and then we will proceed on further. So now let's see the pH scale. Now, the pH scale is the scale which defines the acidic and basic nature. When we go on the left, we get the things are more acidic, while on the right side, the things are more basic. Now it is like a ladder. At the basic level, basicity, the strength of acid increases as we go more further left, and strength of bases increases when we go further right. So here, if you want to see better, acid, these all are acid. Now these are base. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And this 7 is pure, which is not acidic, not basic. This is, for example, here water. Water is in the purest form is not both acidic, not basic, it's normal level. So here it is the pH scale, acidic, basic, ladder going up and down. I hope you got the pH scale. It was not in class 7th, but it still got you to get a better concept. Now let's learn more about neutralization. And also, you can see here that this is coming here, it's NaCSO and there comes HCl. So they neutralize and they exchange some atoms to form something useful. For example, NaOH and HCl. NaOH is a base. HCl, hydrochloric acid, is an acid. So, NaCl. Now, NaCl is a salt. NaCl is a salt. Sodium hydroxide. I am quite interested in chemistry. So, it becomes sodium hydroxide. And H2O. H comes from here and O comes from here. So, H2, 2H2, H from here and H from here, 2H and O, H2O. And Cl goes from here to form a salt, and while this salt and H2O is water. So this is neutralization effect. You can see here it comes HCl, and there it was coming what NaOH. So they come and this becomes a NaCl, sodium hydrochloride, a salt, and 2H and O, which is water molecule. This animation was quite good. I liked it. Now, let's see neutralization effect in our daily life. Okay, now for everyday life in our indigestion. For example, if you have gone to a party and you have come from that party and you have not eaten for some time, and you have come to the party in the morning and you are going in the train, for example, suppose, and you have not eaten anything, you're sitting and you eat at 4 o'clock, for example, at instance, and at that day you didn't eat at 4 o'clock. So in the stomach there are some acids. Hydrochloric acid, a very popular acid, it's in our stomach, which kills bacteria and helps breaking down of food. So that acid, now stomach has some time, when we eat a lot of food at some time, that acid is secreted at that particular time. Whether the food is there or not, that acid is excreted. So when you don't eat food and hydrochloric acid has nothing to kill or break because hydrochloric break into simpler substances. What is we do in the digestion? So when there's nothing to break, then there is lot of acid in your stomach and your stomach starts paining, and then your mamas give you a Digene. That's a popular base. Digene contains milk of magnesia. That is a base which is used in indigestion. We call it Digene also. When you drink it, it's a base. So if your stomach you have acid and you drink base, then some acid and base, it will become salt and water, and you will take that salt and water will be obtained magic. You can obtain water. Okay, so that indigestion you can take that and it will become, your stomach pain will go. And ant bite. So when an ant stings you, that releases methanoic acid, and there you can say you apply some bases, and that reduces that acid effect, and that acid does not affect or you feel pain when ant stings you. That methanoic acid harms your body, and then you will apply base or you rub it with soap, and the effect is neutralized or cancelled out, you can say. Soil treatment. For example, when you lot of manure is added or lot of manure is taken from, because you grow a lot of plants and 2-3 times a year, and you did, and now the soil has all the acid or that neutralized thing has been taken. Now either the land has become very acidic or the lands have become very basic. So then what you add some acid or base according to the what has happened, which we also call fertilizers. So they through the soil, they treat the soil, they get it to the normal pH value, as we learnt about pH now. So that pH value they got it the mirror, then which becomes to the 7, and it becomes neither acid and neither base. And last, factory waste. Now factory waste before putting into the river. Now before, if they put in the river and too much acid is there in the factory waste, so that if we cannot even face that acid, then animals in that water will of course die. So before throwing the water out, base is added onto that factory waste, which neutralizes the effect of acid and does not do large effect on the water surfaces or water sources, but a lot effect is done then also. So that why we are encouraged or we are said not to do water pollution. So I know this was all in this video. Please like and subscribe my channel, and don't forget to click the bell icon segment below to get regular updates of my videos. Stay curious and bye bye.